time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanopt.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another Harmonious weekly update. It's the Wupdate show, and I'm excited you're here. I hope you enjoyed the 4 episodes from this week as much as I did, but I always tell you on this weekly update, at least since I've been doing it, I will be honest on this Wupdate. And this week, I wasn't particularly feeling it, so to speak. There were a couple episodes where I was just like, I don't know about that one, but that's okay. I think overall, it was still a really great week. We'll dissect it here real quick. I got some clips for you. We'll go through them one by one. But the 4 guests from this week were incredible human beings. Let me just start out by saying that. Whether or not the topic landed is a completely different and irrelevant conversation, because these 4 people were awesome. And thank you to all of them for showing up and being a guest on Harmonious at Lunch. We had Marcy Axelrod on Monday, Mike Peterson on Tuesday, Ryan Liebel on Wednesday, and Nathan Newberry on Thursday. And these were topics kind of across the board. We had the human component, the mindset, personality, all that kind of stuff, the human dynamic in the workplace, bookending the week with Marcy and Nathan. And then we had actual tactical advice with Ryan and Mike. So let's dive in here and talk about what we talked about. All right, so first up, Marcy Axelrod. Marcy was incredible. I mean, this conversation, as a matter of fact, as the host, I got lost in this conversation. I was having such a good time with Marcy. We had an amazing conversation, and her whole topic and the principle we discussed was authenticity. I know that's a buzzword, and that's what we kind of wanted to dissect on this episode, but we talked about how we choose to show up and what authenticity really means for us as individuals. And something that I actually found really interesting was she actually has different levels of how you show up. She's 3 levels of how you show up. Most people, she argues, operate in a just showing up, air quotes, kind of way. And it's kind of like sleepwalking through life. And the more she described it, the more we got into the details of it, it made so much sense. And it's kind of eye-opening when you take a step back and you think about it, and you kind of ask yourself, where am I? Where am I showing up right now? Am I being authentic? Am I sleepwalking? Do I know what authentic means? And this episode was one of those episodes where you really have to just take a step back and think. And it's worth listening to multiple times, not just so we pad my download stats. Let's be real, but so you could truly comprehend it. And Marcy had some great giveaways that were available in the show notes here. Let me put her, if you're watching this episode, that is the thumbnail for the episode on the screen now. Unlock Your Potential over on YouTube. So go check that out. But I have some clips here from Marcy. Let me go ahead and play a clip from this episode right now.
Well, I mean, I put level 3, truly showing up, on that word, which we can get into, but from just to start where people are, I mean, there's a lived experience that people have where your body is telling you this is right, this is true to me, right? I am being honest, I am being integrous. And maybe there's some fear around it because there's concern about a response from someone, from a group. And it's probably very valid because it's learned, right? You don't have a fear of something out of the blue.
Again, like I said, one of the episodes that makes you take a step back and think. Even that little clip probably made you think a little bit about the way you react to other people and get triggered. We went into all of that stuff and where anger comes from and how to kind of control your emotions in the moment, being grounded so much. I really, really recommend, if you haven't already, go back and listen to that episode with Marcy. And if you have, maybe listen a second time. It was just that good. But moving on, Tuesday, Mike Peterson. Mike was awesome. We talked about leadership in the age of the digital disruption. Here, I'll toss this on the screen. Digital leadership now is the thumbnail for this episode. And we talked about different styles of leadership, different misconceptions, so to speak, about leadership, and what that needs to look like now in the digital age. We have tools at our fingertips. It could be so much easier to contact people, but the way you relate to them, the way you build relationships, all of that, although yes, easier, actually more complex to make it feel real. And well, let's go back to Marcy's conversation. Authentic, right? To build an authentic relationship with your team, with your employees. We talk all about what executives need to know and model, what tools we need to use. And we also got into virtual leadership, which is something that we didn't really have a number of years ago before COVID, but now it's almost every company has at least a virtual component to it. And it's very rare that you hear where companies mandate you be in the office 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, unless you're in a manufacturing capacity. But leadership has evolved. And we talked about that with Mike. This was a cool conversation. I'll play a clip from it in just a second here. But if you're one of those people where you're questioning, is my leadership effective? Am I building relationships? Are people just working for me to get a paycheck? All of these things, those are questions. They're great questions. Don't get me wrong. Those are the questions we need to be asking that will allow you to up-level your leadership. And that's what we covered in this episode with Mike. So here's the clip.
One of the another very common mistake I see that is so easy to fix is companies that have these department-wide meetings with no video on. It's really hard to build a relationship with a black square on your screen that says MP on it, with a picture of me holding my dog.
Amen, brother. I love it. It's the age of leading, this new age of digital leadership is new, technically uncharted territory. I know we've been doing it for a few years, but even Mike made me take a step back and think about the way we do a couple of things. I love that example though, with Zoom meetings and Google Meet meetings with no cameras on. I don't know. It feels different, right? When you can see somebody's face, regardless of how they look. I mean, I know people get concerned with, oh, I'm not camera ready, I can't show up to this meeting. Doesn't matter. Be a human being, be on camera, and at least build that relationship a little bit. But thanks to Mike for stopping by. I had a lot of fun on that episode. Next up, Ryan Liebel. This episode was on Wednesday, and Ryan was a lot of fun to talk to. And we talked about all of the things I absolutely hate. And I do want to mention, now that I put the thumbnail on the screen, if you're watching this, the things that AI generates are just hysterical. We have 2 arrows with Instagram. We have YouTube with a YouTube logo, and then an Instagram logo next to something that says ConTube. I don't know what that is. It sounds like maybe a really dirty site, but I don't know. I can't see what it says in the background. Bubble Ranny and something gang. Fascinating what AI will do for you, but you see how much effort I put into the thumbnails on this show. Doesn't matter. You're not here for the thumbnails. You're here for the content to grow your business. Ryan, we talked about, content. Look at that. About creating content, creating quality content. And I must say, she kind of disrupted the way that I personally think about creating content. Not that I disagreed with it at all, but everyone on the internet preaches building a personal brand, having the owner or founder in front of the camera. And she disrupted that a little bit, saying it doesn't so much matter if the owner is in front of the camera or not, but you need to tell a story through your content. You need to have high quality content. Volume of content doesn't really matter if the quality isn't there. And I thought that was super cool. It's something that, full disclosure, I just don't do. I mean, I don't put out the highest quality content. As a matter of fact, we cut up all the clips for this episode from these episodes and just post them and put them on YouTube. We have over, I think, 6,500 clips on YouTube from just this podcast alone. Outside of the actual episodes that we've recorded. And I went for more of the volume approach. She kind of maybe take a step back and say, Is it better to do that, or is it better to really put time and effort into high quality content? And I think for the episodes we put out, they are really good content. I'm proud of the episodes. I love the guests we have on the show. But as far as the volume approach to putting out content, it works in the beginning, but I don't think it's scalable. And I just found that really interesting with this conversation with her. We talked about the strategy behind your content, telling stories, and connecting with people, which is not a new concept, but the way she explained it was really, really cool. And then the like I said, the quality of that content. It is worth investing in high quality content rather than just putting out volume of poor iPhone type shot content. So let me play a video here from Ryan, and you can check it out yourself.
But I would say, like, if you're on the edge about it, you're just like, oh, we don't have the budget, so we can't figure it out. That's just the wrong way to think about it, because marketing and PR in the world is essential for succeeding and thriving. And we are in a completely new landscape now, and that beast has got to be fed. So.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, but it's this double-edged sword, right? You have to feed the beast that needs content, but you can't put out crap content because it reflects poorly on your brand. And like I said, I have done that. I've walked that road. I'm not even going to recommend it. To be perfectly honest with you, it's what I did, but I would say I learned from that mistake, and I still do it every now and then just to put something out. But if I were going to listen to that episode and say, what's the best path for myself, my company, or you as a listener listening to that, I would ask yourself that question and say, what's the quality of my content, and can I set aside some of my marketing budget to up level the quality of that content? I think it'll pay off dividends in the long run, and hopefully you adopt that strategy too. So thanks to Ryan, and go back and listen to that episode if you have any questions or concerns about the quality of your marketing. Last up, Nathan Newberry. Nathan was awesome to talk to. We talked all about AI, talked about scaling, mostly without the sacrifices. You could see the title on the screen there, the thumbnail. But we talked about building a personal brand. And it was interesting to hear these two episodes back to back because Ryan and Nathan didn't necessarily agree on everything. Ryan talked about the quality of your content. Nathan talked about the efficiency and ease of posting your content, AI generated content, and becoming more of a personal brand, which was also a little bit of the opposite of what Ryan talked about with becoming a scalable, not faceless brand, but not a brand that depends on the leader, the founder, so to speak. So it was interesting, though, to hear what Nathan said about embracing AI. And, we even talked about how he had a conversation with his team members that in 6 months, they would all be replaced. I don't want to spoil the video clip, but that might be part of the clip that's coming up here in a second. So why don't I play that, and then we'll recap the rest of this episode.
I was like, in 6 months, half of you are going to be replaced by AI. I'm going to be replaced by AI. How can you not be replaced by AI? I gave everybody that challenge to do it. And I think the goal is you're going to be a technician with AI. So learning how to be irreplaceable with it. Because like you think about the video editor that doesn't use AI, the graphic designer that doesn't use AI, it's like they're gone, within months. And so the speed of change is so prevalent that you have to adopt to whatever that is.
Yeah, crazy. Maybe a little bit controversial, but I have to say, since the recording of this episode, between then and when I'm filming this recap episode, it's only been a couple of weeks, and my entire workflow has already changed. I'm leveraging AI, I'm leveraging agents, not because of this episode, but because so much has evolved. It's just become so easy and accessible to leverage the technology to eliminate the mundane tasks and repetitive tasks. I mean, we already have replaced at least one position with AI. We didn't replace a person, but we did prevent us from needing to hire a person to fill that position. But the amount of time and effort I save just by leveraging the technology that's already out there and very, very affordable. My whole AI tech stack, as a matter of fact, the AI tech stack for our company costs less than $500 a month. and we have a ton of tools. So interesting episode. Again, interesting to hear them back and forth about how Nathan uses AI versus how Ryan talks about marketing. That's not the whole episode, but Nathan really did zero in on what is AI going to do for you and your business, and how can you pick up that challenge of replacing yourself on purpose with AI, because then you can up level into a new position, a more collaborative role with AI. You can get more done, be more productive, and it's better for everybody overall. So I don't want to put out the message that we want to replace human beings with AI, but we do want to alleviate the workload. We want to alleviate the burden. We want to make things better for people, and AI is capable of doing that right now. So go check out that episode. Thanks for listening to this one, and hopefully listening to all 4 of the episodes that came out this week, all 5, including this one on Harmonious at Lunch. If you want more of a certain episode, if you want less of a certain type of episode or type of guest, let me know. Shoot us a comment down below wherever you're watching or listening, or shoot me a DM. I want to hear what's going on in your world, what you like, what you don't like, the challenges you need help with. And make sure you also jump over into the Facebook community, because that's where we have the conversations. We want to help you grow your business, interact with the guests, other listeners of the show. It's a whole lot of fun. I hope to see you over there, and we'll see you on the next episode of the weekly update next Friday. And we'll see you next week on more Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for listening.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve